Hi everyone, I'm so happy that you're here to join me for the Way of the Animal podcast.
Welcome back. It's been a minute.
It's been a long minute.
I don't even want to look at how long ago was the last one. We lost momentum after talking about momentum and being like, yeah, let's start season 2. We totally lost momentum.
We did. It was kind of life got in the way.
Yeah, and I think it was almost dropping it back to 2 weeks. There was a whole different routine, and I think I kind of ended up getting up so laid back about, I don't need to do on this week, that we fell behind, and then life got busy, and then there was just...
It's so easy to forget about things like that.
Yeah, suddenly they don't become important, but It's like weird because even though it didn't feel like it was important, it's always niggling at my mind like, no, I don't want to lose it, I don't want to stop it.
Yeah, need to keep going.
But I don't know, it's just like been one little thing after another, which
it was the
seemed
perfect
enough.
storm of everything, because I started calving as well, so I started getting busier. So it was just, everything coming together.
Yeah, it was very easy to just drop the podcast. And I think, like, sometimes you need to do things like that. If you've only got so much energy, and I know energy is endless, but within you've only got so much capacity to be able to do all the things that you're doing, that I think both of us kind of felt if we sat down and recorded a podcast, the energy we bring to it was not the energy we wanted to be recording a podcast with.
Yes.
It'd be tired. I mean, honestly, half the time I don't even know if I could have made a coherent sentence. I don't know if I'll manage it now, but
Probably we normally make
I feel like I'm maybe in a better capacity to do it right now. We'll see. It's just like, when I want to do the podcast, my devotion is devotion of energy and a strong intention of what it is, and I don't want to come to it with I have to do this and put that energy into it, because I feel then people probably won't listen to those ones in the same way, or it won't feel the same way for them, because
definitely
the energy's not right when I do it. So
it's an interesting thing, and it's something that's very easy to sort of get really hard on yourself about, is when you let things lapse.
Yeah.
When you stop doing something routine, whether it's whatever.
It's hard because sometimes you stop doing it to self-sabotage. There's like so many...
Yeah, sometimes you give yourself a reason to stop doing it, but it's really just self-sabotage.
Yeah, it's really interesting because, I actually felt within the busyness that I lost that connection with myself. Because I stopped devoting time to the things that help me to just center myself and feel good within myself before I go and do anything else.
Yes.
I just kind of was like, well, I don't have time for that. And like instantly, after talking about how important it is to always have time for that.
Yeah.
I just dropped it, and then it was just like a self-sabotaging spiral, and honestly, I didn't feel great for a while.
Yeah, so do you think part of because I know for me, part of it was just being busy and tired, and it was kind of one of those, I don't know if I've got the energy to sit and think and say things that matter. But do you think for yourself there was a little bit of self-sabotage in it? Of like...
I think... Yeah,
allowing it to fail.
Like, my mental health took a bit of a hit the last month or so, I would say. Just, I caught a cold. And you know how when you get physically sick, that can affect your mental health, because it just, like, it brings you down, and you just... But instead of sort of, as I felt better, sort of, like, allowing myself to feel better mentally, I stayed low with the mental. And I think that then just allowed me to just be like, well, never mind, podcast's done,
Yes.
Mosquito. Yeah. And that is self-sabotage. Like, that's feeling like a victim in my own life instead of...
Yeah. Well, I know you can be prone to the getting into the headspace of well, I'll just not bother because it's just going to fail anyway, because it's just a waste of time, because, that sort of self-sabotaging, and it's a great one, that, because it fulfills itself.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm scared of being disappointed, because for me, there's this attachment to disappointment as being a reason why my mental health has not been so good. It's like really putting a lot of energy into things and then it not working out and then just being disappointed.
And it's great because then you give up on something.
So now
you don't get disappointed by it, but then you're disappointed because you gave up on it.
Yeah. And then, so I'll put half the energy in. So that's with the podcast. I'm not putting half the energy in. Yeah. So therefore, I put no energy. I had to stop it to allow myself to come back at it when I was ready, I would say.
Yeah. It's interesting.
It is, isn't it?
It's always interesting how we can make excuses and
create massive elaborate stories around them, and then get caught up in our own stories so much that it's really hard to work out of them.
That's it. And you make this story about how hard it is to do something when it's usually not.
Yeah.
There's very little in life that's actually that hard to do.
Yeah, it's just...
90% of it's just getting it done.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I think the topic we thought about for however many weeks... I'm not going to even name the weeks because I don't want to disappoint myself by looking at how long it's been.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's been, so...
It's been and done. It's like being human and how... I think part of being human, we've lost the essence of humanness.
How do you mean?
Well, it's what always comes to mind about being human is that the animals know more about being human than humans do.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes I feel like that we have lost the connection with being human. And also for me, like, I sometimes blame my humanness for my troubles.
Okay.
Because I see like how the animals are and I'm like, oh, that's great. Why can't we be more like that?
Now, not all of them are perfectly adjusted, but...
No. But
on the whole,
they have a way of knowing that they're not perfectly adjusted and helping themselves. They don't spend 6 months sabotaging their...
That's true. They definitely don't overthink things. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting one. And so I think what you're getting at with that is we've got so far away from sort of our natural state.
It's almost like, it's... There's a couple of things that come through about being human. And I remember how we got onto it because we were talking about the cows. And how humans have this way of thinking that we are far superior and that we can make things better by interfering more with things.
Yeah.
So it's like we were talking about the cows and the calves and that, a way to manage them to get really good calving is to completely be in control of the whole situation from the beginning all the way to the end. So it's just like, that one's had a calf, okay, we put it with its mother on its own here and then we make sure that it stays with its mother and but it's like cows naturally know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But in our humanness of interfering in a way to make it better, we take away their ability to naturally do it. It's like they get lazy. They're like, I don't need to look for my calf because it's going to be with me in a minute when I don't have it because someone's going to be here to do it,
Yes,
and, it's like that thing where we just interfere so much thinking we're making things better and we lose that sense of...
It makes me think about an interesting thing, and I have mixed opinions on this sort of story I heard. So, this guy got a phone call. His kid had put his truck in the ditch. And so he dropped everything to go and help his kid get out of the ditch. He knew for a fact that what his kid had been doing was doing burnouts in his truck and had slid off the road into the ditch. And if he was caught, there was some massive, couple of $1,000 fine for doing burnouts on the road. So he helped his kid get out of trouble. And someone else said to him, he said, when you just go let him get into trouble to make better decisions. And it's that hard thing, and obviously I'm not a parent, but as a parent to try and look after and protect, but not let them naturally learn not to do stupid things.
Well, we do it with the dogs.
Yeah.
Like the electric fences. So we have electric fences and we spend so much time trying to keep them away from the electric fences. Whereas if they actually get shocked by it, they would not go near it.
Yeah.
Whereas we're the ones trying to control the situation so they don't go near it.
That's it, because like the cows, it doesn't take them much to realise that, I'm not touching that thing.
So, we're parents of animals instead of children, but it's a kind of a similar thing, It's that sort of trying to control situations to make them work and realising that sometimes, like, the situation needs to play out. I don't know. It's hard though, because
there's interesting things in that, because there's, that thought that if you take away the modern world, most people couldn't cope.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people couldn't cope if your cell phone, all the cell phones broke. Like a lot of people couldn't cope. And it wasn't that long ago we didn't have cell phones. But, it's that sort of reliance on crutches and things like that.
It's I feel that with all our technology advancements, it's like I was talking about the animals there and how the animals live well, is with all the technology advancements, it's almost like we've lost our connection to the essence of who we really are.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that is a whole topic unto itself. Us losing touch of what's natural and what is normal and what is...
Well, I think it's even like I feel like we have to put a lot of energy and attention into living more deeply in our lives.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to get carried away by the superficial, the drama, whatever is like on the surface, on the outside, that we kind of forget who we are.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And I've noticed a couple of things on my YouTube feed, talking about being reliant on cell phones.
I'm still laughing at this.
Oh. Yeah. Go on, you tell the story then.
We're sitting in the sitting room. You must have been going through your YouTube or something like that. You accidentally pressed on a video or a short?
No, I was watching a fight video.
Okay, it was an advert then that came up.
It was an advert that came up.
Are you sore, stiff, and
tired?
Have you just been complaining how sore and tired you
Are you sore, stiff, and tired? Yes, but I don't need my phone to judge me.
Anyway, that's by the by. That's probably not even funny to anyone else, but it was hilarious to me. I just couldn't control myself. It's like your phone knows you.
Stupid phone.
Anyway, YouTube, something?
Oh, yeah. It's, and this is obviously coming from a male perspective, but a lot of ones talking about, all these Hollywood stars and things and the skewing of what is expected of male physique.
Same with women.
It's the same with women. It's the exact same thing.
Oops.
And the one that it was, and I actually watched the video, it was quite interesting. But it's all these actors and things like that who get, super in shape for a role and say, oh yeah, 6 months I'm eating broccoli and rice and chicken and whatever, blah, blah, not doing anything else. And it's just blatantly lies. They're obviously using steroids to get like that. But what they're doing is then they're telling people that, no, you can do this. If you spend 6 months working hard, you can do this, no problem. And it's like changing people's opinions. And then there's like this thing going on, which I had no idea about, like 16-year-old kids and stuff using steroids to get these massive, and it's like an epidemic of this influencer, social media, like this skewing of what it is to be human.
Yeah.
And people look at it, and because these people are dishonest about how they got there, people think, well, I should be able to do that, and then they can't do that, and then...
Well, it's not even that. There's that. There is that. But there's also the fact that, like when I said living deeply, knowing yourself, is that every person is different.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, one thing is not going to work for every single person to get to where they want to be.
That's very true.
And there's like, I think, again, living deeply, like people forget the importance of everything. So mind, body, and soul. So it's like you want your body to look better, but if your mind is in that mindset of always berating, I'm fat, I'm unfit, I'm unhealthy, and I hate myself, then no matter what you do, if you don't help your mind to see a positive light in your body and love yourself for who you are, then no diet, no physical exercise of any kind, and even steroids is going to
change that.
Change
exactly.
That.
Yeah.
It's like we've just lost complete touch with the important values of who we are.
Yeah.
And it's like you said it's like it's a pandemic of social media and news and influencers that we're not tuning in with ourselves. It's just like, well, that's there, and no, you can't stop that, and that's what is there. That's what's happening, and you can't be like, well, let's stop that. No, that's not going to happen. What we need to remember is who we are, connecting in with ourselves, finding the truths of what you're seeing, or if you can't find the truth or you don't understand it, then don't do it. And don't believe it. Don't always believe everything you read or see. It's just, but we have become, it's like, it feels like we've become so gullible to all this information that is being...
And you're getting skewed away from being sort of just normal.
Well, I don't
Normal's
even
a bad
think
word.
normal's not the right word.
Being natural.
Just being yourself.
Yeah.
Being who you are. It's like... It's just really,
Could you imagine going back in time, not that long ago, before influencers was a thing? Because even growing up, it wasn't so much a thing.
Well, we didn't have, magazines were bad for it. Let's say that.
Yeah, there were magazines, but it wasn't nearly to the degree it is now. But could you imagine being back then and saying to someone, do you know in whatever it is, 20, 30 years, there's going to be this whole group of people who make a living about putting a camera on themselves, using a filter on themselves and saying, look how amazing I am. And that's a valid career, and millions of people are going to follow them and be like, wow, look how good they are. I wish I was like that. It's ridiculous. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world.
But it's like, it started with, I feel like it started with the magazines.
Oh,
and, it
100%.
started
Fashion
back then.
Yeah, all these kind of things. Yeah.
It's just like, I feel like a lot of us need to go back to our childhood, teenage self and just be like, hey, just be you. You did good, whatever. Like, whoa,
Yeah, when you didn't think about things like that and the pressures of the outside.
But even like growing up before internet was big, when it was dial-up and we didn't even, on the island, we didn't have it for a while. It's like that influencing and that influencer was still there, just in a different form.
Yes.
Now it's more mass,
Yeah, now it's everywhere. And I think that's the thing. Now it's everywhere, and now it's hitting you when you are a kid.
Yeah.
So
I think it hits when the kid anyway, because magazines, like everyone got magazines.
Yeah.
Or you'd see it on the TV adverts, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose, I don't know, my memories of being a kid, I don't remember noticing, thinking, or fixating on that sort of
Well,
thing.
you wouldn't notice it. It would just be there.
I suppose, yeah, your subconscious probably did.
Totally. It's like you think about the makeup adverts, the clothes adverts, and things like that, and the body forms that
To be
were in
fair,
there.
movies and stuff as well, because I
Yeah.
loved movies growing
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's been there a very long time.
Mm.
And it's just like a subliminal thing, and now it's just a really, really obvious thing.
I wonder how much mental health issues in the world are related to people, measuring themselves against this.
Well, it's
phony.
normal. It's normal. It's like that.
It's not normal.
No, to compete, to feel like you need to be better. You know, we always have that growth mindset, but it's when you get confused or it's not even confused, when you feel like what you need to grow is your external appearance.
Yeah. But then, even at that, it's so fake. So it's like, I'm quite competitive.
No.
Occasionally. So when we go to kickboxing, I want to push, I want to try and be as best as I can be, and everything like that. But that is against a realistic marker. Now, okay, some folk there are like half my age, whatever. But still, it's semi.
Are you competing against yourself though? You know what?
Well, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, my judgment is that I don't mind if I'm losing to someone.
Yeah, it's more that you're improving yourself.
I'm improving myself, and I want to keep hitting the person that I'm losing to, and I want to keep bashing myself against that wall until I can work out how to improve. I don't want to always be dominating the other person. I want to push. I want to try and get better. Yeah. Even if there's that part of me that knows you're probably never going to be that good.
Yeah.
I want to keep driving for that.
Yeah, I get that.
So that's fine. But then if you're looking at the kind of the influencer, social media, movies, all that side of things, the image that you're shown isn't real. It's not obtainable. It's not something you can strive for. It's fake.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah. I think it's as well like when you get caught up in, like, I'm just trying to think, because a lot of movie stars, to match the body type they're expected to be for a role, will do like a crash.
Yeah.
Like what I would call a crash thing, because they literally are like, okay, living, breathing for the next whatever months. I have to suffer, because it is suffering, because they're putting their body through and their mind and everything through so much to match that goal. And, that's not kind of the life that I want to live.
No, definitely
it's like, okay.
I think Jared Butler said that after doing 300, that like the abuse he put his body through was just unhealthy, and he was never ever going to do that again for a movie. Yeah. But then you look at Hugh Jackman, because he just did the Deadpool Wolverine film, and he's in his 50s. And you look back to the first X-Men film he did, where he was in good shape, but obviously just quite natural shape.
Yeah.
And he looks nothing like he does now. And he shouldn't naturally be able to get more lean, more muscle mass at that age, because as you get older, you can't put down as much muscle mass. Like, that's just fact, and your muscles start to decline. So it's not really possible. But people look at it and go, oh, look at, that's, and then you see it this thing had a clip of an interview of him. They did it in 6 months. And it's like, that's crazy. So then you get people, I want to do that. I'm going to start working out. They get 6 months in and they look nothing like that, because it would take years naturally to do it. And then they get really depressed, disheartened. They give up, which the exercise is great for them. It's doing them really well. But it's like, well, I can't look like him. So
well, it's very much like the setting goals, you know, like that's where you can really screw yourself, you know, you can really mess yourself up by goals and like physical goals are so hard.
Physical goals are really hard. I think physical, like being able to run a marathon, being able to lift this much weight, being able to whatever, physicality, I think they're quite reasonable goals. The visual, physical goals, I don't think it shouldn't matter because everyone's bodies, like you said, are different, different shapes.
I think as well, it's like we have been trained to feel what is acceptable as a body shape.
Yes.
And then you're trying to aim for that, and it's just like celebrating what your body shape is. Yeah. And like obviously there's health within that, you know.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, I was thinking about it because I've felt that because as I've got older, my body shape has changed, and I've always been just naturally quite lean as a person.
Yeah.
I mean, I was always very physically active, which helps that. And, you know, my shape has changed, but it's just more like a woman's physical shape.
Yes, you have a more womanly figure now than, like, teen child type
which
figure.
I kept for a lot, like, till my 30s, I think. I kept that teen figure, you know, I could still wear the same clothes I wore at high school, but you know, as I've got older now, that's not the same. There's definitely a level where I'm like, oops,
too much ice cream.
Too much ice cream. Maybe a bit more exercise again, you know, and just pick it back up and help myself out. But yeah, it's not easy, and
it's not easy, and I'm usually very, very good at not caring about external influences on my internal, what I'm comfortable with. But even I feel it now and again. Then I'm like, oh no, I need to maybe try and lean up a bit more, try and do a bit more of this, and it's stupid.
Yeah, and it seems to hit, and I think it's always like it hits when you're just mentally not as strong as you were. You know, it's like you're having a harder time, and so you just add it to the list of things that you can berate yourself with. Oh, I am not this. And then, you know, this is what the perception is of what you should be, and it's not that's actually the thing. It's truth.
This perception of what you should be.
Yeah.
And as you go back to, you know, to older films and older movies and things like that, just what people used to have, and it's that kind of creep that everything has, of everything creeping up a bit and up a bit and up a bit. You go like back to James Bond films and Sean Connery and stuff like that, and you know, he looked nothing like an action star from today.
Yeah,
but he was still really fit and in shape.
Like he was good enough. Yeah.
It was perfect, and back then everyone was like, "Wow, look at the shape he's in," and you know, and now, if you've not got, you know, 0% body fat and solid six pack.
I think actually that's part of the problem, is the sort of ever-changing goalposts of... I
mean, it's the improvement, which improvement is always...
But it's also
good.
like, you know, I was reading something, and I don't know if it's true or not, but... because I haven't fully researched it, I don't believe anything I read now, but I'm like, oh, that's interesting, I'll look into that, and then never got it. Was like the cholesterol level that they use as the bar for you've got high cholesterol has been lowered, so that your higher cholesterol is, you know, you've got high cholesterol, but they're changing where that is set.
Yeah.
You know, from however many years ago. I don't know all the full facts, but that's what I read.
There's some really interesting things with cholesterol as well, because it's actually quite good for you.
Yeah, it's like not always accepting and believing everything, you know, I have high cholesterol. What is high cholesterol for me individually? Yeah. And then what is, you know, influencing that, and then what are they measuring it against? Yeah. Someone like me, or is this someone not like me? You know, it's just...
I don't remember the ins and outs of it, but there was a doctor that had done research on cholesterol, and it was to do with heart disease, because obviously that's the two links that everyone makes. And it was that the heart disease, it's weakness in your heart, the cholesterol helps repair it. And that way, that is why they see people with high cholesterol have heart disease, because they got heart disease and the cholesterol's trying to repair it.
Interesting.
And it's a whole thing about it. And it's kind of like the analogy that this person was telling me about the article made was, it's kind of like saying firefighters cause fires.
Because they're always at fires.
If there's a fire, there's a firefighter there. So clearly the problem is firefighters.
Well, this is it. And I think that's the thing is when you get into the clinical side of what you should be as a human physically.
Yeah.
I feel like they don't fully understand the body as a one, and they're still, it's
We're
like that.
still learning how the body
it's like
works.
that thing, is it the spleen that they always take out, or
It's like
appendix?
your tonsils.
Yeah, and it's like you don't need them. But it's like actually every part of your body
has a function.
And it's meant to be there to help balance your body. And it's just like, it doesn't do enough to be worried about. If it's having a bit of a problem, we'll just whip it out. It's like, whoa, my body naturally wants to heal itself. Why are you just like whipping out organs like,
you don't need that.
I'm a doctor, you don't need that. It's like, wow.
It's crazy.
And then, 20 years later, they're like, oh, this is really an important part of your
actually,
body.
you probably did need that appendix.
It's like, it's really fascinating.
I mean, it's our hubris as humans is that we think we're so clever. And we are clever. We're really clever. But boy, do we make some stupid mistakes.
Well, I think, it's like when we get into the scientific clinical side of anything, it's so easy to lose sight of the whole.
Yes.
And I think that's that living more deeply is our responsibility to life and ourselves is to live deeply, and live deeply, I just mean know yourself. Mm-hmm. Know what drives you, know what makes you feel good, know what helps you, know how your body is feeling and how it's working, and know how to help yourself, and know that your body is always healing and trying to heal itself. Yep. And therefore, don't just expect that something's going to fix it, or that if I get rid of that'll solve that problem. It's just like your body's always trying to bring you back to balance. Yeah. And quite often it's our mental issue that doesn't allow it to, because we don't do the things that our body's telling us to do to help ourselves.
Yeah, that's it. And I think the thing that came up with that was the knowing yourself and knowing where you are and being able to accept this is where I am. Mm-hmm. And even if that's not where you want to be, being able to be, okay, this is realistically, this is where I am. So this is where I want to move to.
If I've had that this week, like I had a cold a couple weeks ago. I very rarely have colds and get sick. So I was blindsided and rather upset to get a second cold this year, because I just don't get sick. That's just not what happens. But obviously, my energy's in a different place because I'm still grieving. It's been sort of a challenging time. So I think that just kind of has allowed things to get out of balance, which lets things like colds get in a little bit more, because you've got lower immunity, lower vibration.
With such a heavy knock, everything is just out of balance, and you haven't found that. And
I'm still not, back to a more flowing balance that I was before. Mm-hmm. Anyway, and then I was like, I'm over the cold, I can go back to kickboxing. So I went back to kickboxing on Wednesday, and then I've just not felt that great since then. So it's like, maybe I shouldn't have, I didn't realise, but maybe I shouldn't have gone, because I
would never overdo it like that.
No. So I'm just a bit more tired again.
Yeah.
I've not got the cold back or anything, but I just don't have the energy that I did. And that's just like, okay, right, I need to keep it easy. Don't overdo it. Just let my body heal and do what it needs to do, and not push myself so hard. So
that is definitely the sensible thing to do.
The way you said that.
I know full well that that's not what I'm doing, but that's, yes.
I honestly, I think in my younger years, I would just push through that and carry on. But I think it prolongs it, but it also, like, you go against yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Your body is telling you, your energy is telling you, hey, slow down a bit, give yourself a bit of time. And yeah, you're doing that mind over matter, which, you know, sometimes that is required, but not always.
No comment. No comment as all of me hurts.
Yeah. Well, like, your body is always communicating with you.
Mm-hmm.
And this is this living deeply, knowing yourself. This is just like, well, what's it communicating? How can I help it to recover, feel better? But we have a habit of, I don't have time to feel sick, be sore, deal with, help myself. I have to do this, this, and this. And, you know, if you keep doing that, that's where chronic illnesses,
yes, definitely
disease starts, you know.
Yeah, no, you should listen to your body and you shouldn't push when it hurts.
I'm not even talking to you. Like, I just, whatever, you know, you can continue doing what you're doing. I've realized, and it's taking some time, that, you know, there's no point in, like, trying to get someone to change the way they are. Like, that's not, this a waste of energy.
Yes.
And all you could do is be like, you know, just look after yourself.
Yeah. Are you sure that's the best
idea?
idea?
Are you sure you're okay doing that? You know, but in the end, it's your journey and your story, or my journey and my story, and you can't save everyone. You can't sit and try and save people from themselves.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But, like, I'm not, it's funny because that used to really upset me, because I would just want to look after you, make sure you're looking after yourself. But now it's just like, well, it's your choice.
Yeah.
And actually, I know that as much as you're making light of this, you are like, oops, I'm just going to take it as easy.
I am moderating.
You've changed what you're doing.
A bit to try and recover better.
Yeah.
Yes. But I'm only moderating as little as possible.
Yes. Yeah. And then again, that's that thing, I think, that sometimes you feel like the external things, like the job that we have to do, or whatever that we need to do, becomes more important than our own health.
Yes.
And
for me, it's probably a completely psychological thing of not liking can't and
weakness,
shouldn't, and anything like that.
Yeah.
Because I have...
that stubbornness comes in whenever I say you can't do that.
My biggest coping mechanism / strength is I can do anything.
Yes.
And nothing can stop me.
Yeah.
And so...
I'm looking forward to spending my next years with you as you get older.
And I can still do anything.
Yes.
And nothing can stop me.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Well, I'm just looking forward to, you accepting yourself and realizing that, you can do anything, but you don't need to.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. Yeah. That's completely fair. I like to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
But I don't like to listen to I want to do that. Well, you probably can't do that. But
well, no one says that to you.
They wouldn't dare. Because then I have to do it.
Exactly. It makes you do it. No, I've seen you grow with that and change with that, and in a really positive way of looking after yourself a bit more, of sort of going, okay, I don't need to brawn this. I could actually use my mind to solve this in a better way.
After I had my knee surgery and that recovery, that was a big learning point for me. And I did learn with that when it was bad and painful or unstable or anything like that, that if I didn't take a break, then it would be worse for longer.
Yes.
So that definitely showed me that, oh no, you need to be a bit sensible about it.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like, so I've hurt my back at work wrestling calves, and it wouldn't be that many years previous that I would have just continued doing the exact same thing and just ignored it and whatever.
And I almost feel like you would have done that, kept working as hard as you usually do, and been in pain all summer.
Yeah, and
like,
grumpy and unhappy, and that's it. Whereas what I've done is I'm doing as much as I have to do, and moderating what I'm doing with my back just to try and let it recover.
Yeah. And that's honouring yourself, knowing yourself, and looking after yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was it's kind of interesting.
Being human's like one of those topics that just encompasses so.
I know.
So
I don't know. I think I might call us, know yourself, because that's kind of where we went. Was
it probably was, but it's that thing. It's something that definitely grates on me at the moment. Is the way, I'm sure it must be an age thing. Anyway, the way that influencers and social media and everything tries to push people to these unrealistic goals and ideals that, like, no, that's not how life is. But you watch them and you're like, oh, I want that. And then it's so easy to fall into the depression of the, why can't I manage to do that? Because look, they're doing it and they're not putting in any effort at all. Yeah. It's all just camera tricks.
Well, it's all just, it works for them, or it's made up, and just put everything through a filter. And
I really wonder, this just came to me. So one of the big ones they do for guys in movies is they do this dehydration thing before doing topless scenes. So they drink loads and loads and loads of water for a few days running up to it, and then they completely stop drinking water. I remember seeing Henry Cavill who played Superman and a few other people. Anyway, in a run up to one of the ones he was doing, he said he could smell water. Like, he was so thirsty and unhappy and really unhealthy. And all this just to do this topless scene and look, amazing. I wonder if they didn't start doing, because no one ever used to expect that.
Yeah.
But now everyone expects that.
Yep.
It's like crazy.
And the funniest thing is, I don't notice or care when I watch a movie. That's
the thing. I don't know if I would notice.
Who's the person who's...
He's still in incredible shape without doing all that.
I think, when it comes down to it, the person or the people that really care about that is the producer, that artistic vision and how they want it to
But it's
look.
trying to make people look like caricatures of people. Yeah. It's like, it's weird. And I feel like if the first person whoever you are, you're a bad person. The first person who ever did it in a movie set this standard, and everyone's like, oh shit, now I have to do that.
Well, I think, again, it's like I just said, it's like the, movie creators, producers, whatever, when they're creating scenes, it's an artistic thing.
Yeah, you've got this.
So they're not actually, it's almost that disconnection from the fact that it's a human or an animal that they're working with. It's they want it to look like that. Yeah. And I think that's it's bringing art into affecting actual physical forms and not realizing quite the expectations that's expected,
That's it.
Anyway, we shall stop there.
Yeah, I think if we don't stop, we'll keep going. Because I'm now suddenly thinking of a load of other things.
Well, we can start another podcast on something similar.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.